Alright, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing? Thanks for checking out this video. Support for the channel is definitely awesome, much appreciated. And yeah, yesterday, I'm actually feeling a little bit better now, but yesterday I went on a hike just because I've been wanting to get outdoors. But also I got results back that my cholesterol is a little bit high, so I need to start getting some cardio back in my life. When I did it before, I killed it. No medication needed, so I just need to get myself back on track. So I decided to go hiking. And I haven't really hiked in a long time. So I decided to go do a short trail. That was very disappointing when I got done with it, so I decided to do the long trail. Ended up doing 9 miles with 3 hills, quite a bit of elevation change, a little bit of elevation change depending on everything's relevant. But yeah, super sore yesterday and feeling a lot better today. But of course you go down the rabbit hole when you start getting an interest in things. Well, actually let me back up. That before I went on the hike, I was thinking about this, that possibly the best exercise you can get for SHTF is to be able to hike. Is to be able to carry things and go long distances. Now, I wasn't really carrying anything when I went out, but it was a pretty good distance, and there was a lot of cardio involved with that. Climbing some of the hills and hiking up big rock gravel areas, up 10% grades and whatnot. So, yeah. You can be strong, you can be fast, you can fight, stuff like that. One of the most important, if not the most important thing, is to be able to travel on foot. There's a whole number of things that can happen in an SHTF scenario, from EMPs, grid down, cyber attacks, yada yada, that can cause vehicles to be inoperable, basically, or on a limited scale because of gas or fuel or anything like that. So you're going to have to be able to get around, and you're going to have to be getting around on foot or a bike or something like that, something that is not attached to fuel. Electric might be nice here. But anyway, that, and just for health reasons, I wanted to get out and hike. So I went down the rabbit hole, like I said a few minutes ago, and I came across a documentary. I'll put it here, show you what it was, award-winning, stuff like that. Very, very good documentary if you're into nature and stuff like that. Pretty cool. But as I'm watching this, I'm realizing this is the same way that we're going to go down the road before, during, and after SHTF. The hike is SHTF. And it's a weird analogy, but let me just run through it with you real quick. There's preparation. Before SHTF, you have your preppers. The hikers prepare. They practice. They train. They learn. They do everything that they need to do to attack what's coming. Preppers do the same. It is literally prepping. So I guess it would be preppers and survivalists. So let's combine those two together. When they start on the trail, and I've watched a lot of these documentaries. I've watched the AT, the CDT, but yeah, I've always kind of had an interest in it, even though I haven't been so active, just kind of dreaming from my couch on hiking these big trails. But this is consistent across pretty much all hikers and all trails, and probably around the world universally. It's just the way our bodies work and stuff like that. So without getting too far off track there, when they start out, they're excited. Yeah, everybody's taking selfies at the beginning of the trail. Everybody's all gung-ho. And if you don't know, the AT and the CDT are 2,000 to 3,000 mile trails that take a very long time to finish. I think it's months or something like that. But you're walking across the whole country, so it takes a long time. Pretty much, I mean, it seems like on the East Coast, they're still excited at first. On the West Coast, it's brutal in the beginning. You're in the desert, hot, scorpions, tarantulas, cactus, you're hiking through all that. The trails aren't very good, and you're just kind of like, yeah, did I make the right choice by coming out here and trying to attack this gigantic hiking trail? Me. And you're going to get that with preppers. Depending on the situation, let's just go with full-blown Mad Max SHTF. We might be sitting here as preppers is the 10% of the population that lived in a short amount of time, with nukes going off or something like that, or, who knows. But they're going to be like, is this the right choice? As SHTF is starting, we can even apply that to right now in the world today. There's still people doubting. There's preppers that doubt whether wasting all this money is the right choice when they need to be putting their kids into college and stuff like that. Because SHTF just got going. If you just look around any source of information anywhere in the world, you're going to see it. If you don't see it, I wish you the best of luck. I don't know. But SHTF has started. Anyway, yeah, they kind of start, the bitching begins at about that point, just a few days into the hike. Probably going to happen with preppers as well. We're going to be like, damn, we can't drive, we got to walk everywhere? Shit. Okay, I'm a prepper, I'm ready for this, I got 15 pairs of hiking boots, whatever. But when you're actually out there doing it and you have to do it and you're forced to do these things and you're pushing yourself to do these things, things are going to turn. Things are, because there is a certain level of fantasy when it comes to prepping. Everybody has their imagination of what's going to happen in the scenarios that they run through their head. Everybody's different about that. So a little bit of realization is going to kick in pretty early that things are going to get really tough with a lot of people. So I would say at this point, the people that haven't prepared at all and thought everything is just hunky-dory are already like it end game pretty early on. Food's going to become scarce, all that kind of stuff. So moving on. There's a point on the trail to where it's like the first euphoria, the first reason that I came out to do it, the beautiful area. Now on the CDT, that was up in Flagstaff, in that area to where you finally got out of the desert and you're up in the trees, the cooler weather and all that kind of stuff. That'll probably happen with SHTF. There's going to be a hint of hope that the government's still going to come in and fix it. And we're talking a week into it, 2 weeks into it, something like that. We're probably going to get some information from the uppers, from the gods that control all strings, that things are going to be okay. They're working on it. Hang in there. We're coming. We got everything figured out. Don't worry, we're coming for you. We haven't forgotten about you. Whatever. So we're going to have that little bit of hope. So as the hikers keep going on, there's an early dropout. I think this is going to be like the people that thought they could do it and just can't hack it. The people that didn't train correctly, the people that they may have been sick to start it out. They might have had trouble with a joint that they were working out and they thought they could do it and they weren't able to do it. So they're gone. They're gone. The first group is out. This is going to be the 90% that everybody claims. I don't think it's going to be that high, but like if we lose power and stuff like that, 90% of the people are going to die. No, we're more resilient than that, especially Americans. But yeah, we're going to have the difficulty of self-deletion. We're going to have the difficulty of people doing stupid stuff and finding out stupid things. That's going to be a big deal. That's going to be a big deal. Again, as the trail goes on, you start realizing things are not easy. There becomes a point where the people that hike the trails are thinking, my feet hurt, my knees hurt, my hips hurt, my back hurts, I have blisters. This guy actually got something stuck in his eye, no doctors around, out in the middle of nowhere. So he had to walk for days while this thing was stuck in his eye until it got worked out. But he had all this stuff going on, and no matter what, you have to keep pushing. Otherwise, you will fail. You're not going to do it. You have to keep pushing. No matter how hard things get, you have to keep pushing through. It's that willpower. SHTF, it's going to be the same thing when it comes to the point. Mad Max is starting. Rebellious groups are coming together. The decay and disease that is all over the cities. All these things that are really heavy on the mind are going to sink in. It's going to come to a realization on all that. That is going to be tough. That is going to be really tough. And that is going to be one of the worst parts that we're going to have to deal with in a worst case scenario SHTF situation. So, again, very, very similar, like kind of the timeline and the way this all unfolds. Usually after that point, you get the couple stragglers that were hanging in there are out. They're feeling the same thing. They're feeling it. This is usually at like the 2,000 mile mark. And they end up meeting up usually at different towns, the town stops, and hook up with other groups. Find what's left of another group. You have what's left of your group. You guys get together, build back up to 6 people or whatever you're doing, make friends for life, go on the adventure for the rest of the way. Sometimes people come in and out. They just might go for a state and then that was their goal. But some people hang in until the end. SHTF is going to be no different. We're going to hit a point, the people that we thought were friends are going to turn against us. You're going to turn against people. The whole shift of the community, the whole shift of our social structure that we have in this country is going to move. It's going to shift a little bit. We're going to get rid of the old, welcome in the new, because things are going to have to be made up kind of as you go. You're going to have to be innovative and figure things out, navigating the world of SHTF. So you're going to get together with like-minded people, even if your mind changed from the beginning of your planning and your prepping and stuff like that, ideas are going to shift apart. It's not going to be political. It's not going to be anything like that. Just some people are going to do certain things and other people are going to do other things. So you're going to have people coming and going out of your life, out of your groups, out of your communities and stuff like that. And that's the same thing that happens when people are out hiking these long hikes. So moving on again, I think there was something I was going to add in here. I'm forgetting what it is because I just do this off the cuff, but as you get towards the end, they were getting at the end of the trail and they're up in Yellowstone. They're up in Glacier National Park. And it is the worst for their bodies, for their minds. They have eaten like crap. Hiking these long trails destroy your body. It's not good for your bones. It's not good. It is good for your heart, but that's about all it's good for. It's not good for your muscles. It does a lot of damage. It's very close to being in space. A lot of people relate those two things, which is kind of weird, but look into it. There's studies out there and stuff like that for bone densities and muscle densities and stuff. But it is at the maximum when they are coming up 300 miles from the Canadian border. You've been at this for weeks and months, stressing your body as hard as you possibly can, pushing through those times where you didn't think you could get through it, getting over the bullshit in the beginning of thorns and scorpions and stuff like that. That was the easy stuff, but it seemed hard at the time that you were doing it because you were just getting into it. So usually thinking back at those times, a lot of people look back at the first day of hiking, the friends that they were with, the excitement. And then they reflect on it through the whole series on how everything has changed so drastically over the course of this period. We are going to do the same thing in SHTF. We're going to hit a point where we're going, holy crap, remember when gas was $7 a gallon and they were price gouging it and all this kind of stuff? Man, wouldn't it be nice for that? Wouldn't it be nice just for a double cheeseburger at McDonald's? McDonald's might be done. We don't know. And we're going to hit a point that's going to reflect back onto that. But we're also going to see that there's hope in the future. We can get to the end of this. No matter how bad things are, we can get to the end of it. And then ultimately, they end up finishing the hike. And ultimately, we're going to come to the end of our SHTF life-changing adventure. things are going to turn around, the war is going to be over, infrastructure is going to start coming back. All these things are eventually going to come back after SHTF. I really don't think it's going to be a complete desolate wasteland for SHTF. I don't think it's going to be go to Mad Max. There might be this weird kind of modern version of a Mad Max, like I said, with like rebel groups and stuff like that, but we are going to come out the other side. And that, like I said years ago in my videos, that golden age is coming. That is not now. The golden age is not Trump's golden age. The golden age is coming. We have to go through literal hell to get there. That's the way it has always happened, and that is the way it always will happen. That's the way it's going to happen this time. So, and it's kind of interesting, and like I started the video, it's probably one of the more important things you could do as a prepper. Get out, move, get out, hike, get out, push your endurance. Get out. I did this yesterday on the hike. My halfway point was the moment that I realized that I effed up and went too far. Yeah, I was already hurting and kind of in pain, and I still had about 4 miles to hike when I'm not used to hiking. And that hike back actually wasn't that bad. It just hit a steady plateau of pain, and I just kept pushing. But do that. At least consider it and think about it. What do you guys think? Could hiking be possibly the best exercise for preppers? Pushing the endurance and pushing your stamina, it's great for your health. I think if you don't do insane hiking that starts shutting your body down because it's so intense, you're probably going to be okay, and hiking is going to be a healthy thing. I think when you do extreme anything, it's going to take tolls on something else. So yeah, anyway, just kind of wanted to talk about that. I just got finished watching that documentary, so again, I'll put it up right here. Check it out and think about the psychology of prepping versus the psychology of that endurance type of hiking when you watch it. Even if you don't, it's an awesome documentary with some good dudes and ladies there as well. I think they could definitely be my kind of liberal people. I am that kind of liberal. I love that stuff. So anyway, check it out. Thank you for checking this one out. I'll leave it with that. Till next time, I'll talk to you then. Peace.
Well, rocking tonight under the pale moonlight, the dance floor shaking.